Hello, this is me, Nicola, and Asia's Othello video. For our performance, we chose an excerpt from Act 4, Scene 1 of the play, and what happens in it is that Iago and Othello have their discussion where Iago manages to completely convince Othello of his wife's cheating, and how that happens is he uses Cassio and takes him out of context and makes him supposedly confess his crime. And we also see Bianca appearing, and we portray Othello's reaction to the whole situation afterwards. Enjoy!
No. Stand you a while apart. Confine yourself, but in a patient way. Whilst you are here, overwhelmed with your grief, a passion most resulting such a man, Cassio, came hither. I shifted him away and laid good excuses upon your ecstasy. Bade him anon return and here speak with me, the which he promised. Do but encave yourself, and mark the fleers, the jibs, and the giggles that dwell in every region of his face. For I will make him tell the tale anew, where, how oft, how long ago, and when he hath and is again to call his wife. I say, but mark his gesture, merry, patience, or I shall say your all-knowing spleen and not in of a man.
Don't thou hear, Iago. I'll be found most cunning in my patience, but dost thou hear, most bloody.
That's not amiss, but yet keep time now. Will you withdraw? Now, will I question Cassio of Bianca, his wife who, by selling her desires, buys herself better clothes. It is a creature that dotes on Cassio, as this the trumpet's plague, to beguile many and be beguiled by one. He, when he hears of her, cannot refrain from the excessive laughter. Oh, here he comes. As he shall smile, Othello shall go mad, and his bookish jealousy must constant. Poor Cassio's smiles, gestures, and quiet behavior quite interrupt.
Iago!
Lieutenant!
Iago!
Oh.
Boom!
Bam.
Iago!
Lieutenant, what you doing?
The word, sir, that you give me the edition whose want you accuse me.
Polite as the mono well, and you're sure on it. Now, if this suit lay in Bianca's power, how quickly should this be?
I was poor creative.
Look how he loves already.
I never knew a woman with man so.
Last poor, she think indeed she loves me.
Now he denies it faintly and does it out.
Do you hear, Cassio?
Now he importunes him to tell it all. Go to. Well said, well said.
She gives it out that you shall marry her. Do you intend it?
Do you triumph, Roman? Do you triumph?
I marry her? What? A customer? Pretty bear some charity to my wit. Do not think it sounds wholesome.
So, they love the twin.
Why the cry goes that you shall marry her?
Pretty? Say true.
I'm a very villain else.
Have you scored me? Well.
This is the monkey song giving up. She's persuaded I will marry her out of her own love and flattery, not out of my promise.
Iago beckons me. Now he begins the story.
Oh, she was here even now. She haunts me every day. I was the other day talking on the sea bank with certain Venetians, and thither comes the babble. And by this hand she follows me thus about my neck.
Crying, Oh dear Cassio, as it were, his gesture important.
So hangs and woes and weeps upon me, so shakes and poos me.
Now he tells him how she brought him to my chamber. Oh, I see that nose of yours, but not that dog I shall throw it to.
Well, I must leave your company.
Before me. Look where she comes.
Oh, it is another fish view, Mary. A perfumed one. What do you mean by this haunting of me?
Let the devil and his damn haunt you. What did you mean by that same handkerchief you gave me even now? I was fearful to take it. I must take out the work, a likely piece of work, that you should find it in your chamber and not know who left it there. This is a minx's token, and I must take out the work? There, give it your hobby horse. Wheresoever you had it, you take it, no work on it.
How now, my sweet Bianca? How now? How now?
By heaven, that should be my handkerchief. If you come to supper tonight, you may. But if you're not, come when you're next prepared for.
Oh. After her, after her.
I must. She rode in the street else.
Will you sup there?
Yes, I intend so.
Well, I may chance to see you, for I would very fain speak with you.
Pretty come, will you?
Go to, say no more.
How shall I murder him, Iago?
Did you perceive how he laughed at your vice?
Oh, Iago.
And did you see the handkerchief?
Was it mine?
Yours, by this hand. And to see how he prizes the foolish woman, your wife. She gave it him, and he had given it his whore.
I would have him 9 years at killing. A fine woman, a fair woman, a sweet woman.
Nay, you must forget that.
Aye, let her rot and perish and be damned tonight, for she shall not live. No, my heart is turned to stone. I strike it, and it hurts my hand. Oh, the world had not a sweeter creature. She might lie by an imperial side and command him tasks.
Nay, that's not your way.
Check her! I do but say what she is. So delicate with her needle, an admirable musician. Oh, she'll sing the savageness out of a bear, of so high and plenteous wit and invention.
She's the worst for all this.
Hello, as you know, I'm playing two roles in this play. So the first one is Othello and the second one is Bianca. So they're very different characters because they have their own and unique attitude, values, physical appearance, tone, even intonation, which is why I use different clothing props, different angle change, different intonation, as I already mentioned, for each characters, and use different gestures in order to convey a different message and better express their feelings. So in that specific passage, Othello is being very manipulated by Iago, who just managed to question his jealousy. During their talk in the beginning, I was trying to express Othello's anger and hopelessness with these movements back and forth, my hands around my waist, or like my cross hands as well, the constant shaking of my head as well, and most importantly, the abrupt changes in my tone. In the scenes when I had to hide behind Nicola and Vasco, I tried to recreate this curiosity that Othello demonstrates during Iago's conversation with Cassio. So basically, when Cassio reveals that he doesn't care about his relationship with Bianca, I was trying to act like I'm super amazed, and at the same time aggressive towards his behavior and attitudes towards women in general. Um, Also, my speech during that scene was really quiet because I was pretending that no one is hearing me. And also, the act of hitting the floor is associated with Othello's anger and frustration with Cassio's words and speech. So, on the other hand, Bianca is very angry with Cassio, but she rather demonstrates bitterness in her tone rather than weakness. So, what I'm saying is that Othello is rather weak because he has just understood that his wife is cheating on him, but at the same time, Bianca is very bitter. Um, of course, she is angry with her lover. Um, but she's accusing Cassio of having an affair with another hobby horse, which is triggering her anger. In this role, I was trying to mimic her emotionality, but at the same time emphasize her dominance. The aggressive act of giving the handkerchief to Cassio and holding her hands on her waist, like, shows that she would not allow someone to cheat on her, and she rather cares about telling Cassio that she is affected rather than being affected this time. Like, she prefers to let him know that she is affected and she's hurt, but at the same time wants to show that she is dominant and that men should not act like that on women.
Hey class, hey Miss Tang. In this short movie that we acted out, I was in the role of Iago. I did my best to sleep in Iago's shoes, if I can say so, and use certain intonation and body language to convey the feelings that this manipulative son of a character wants the other characters in the play to think he feels. And I say to think he feels because he really does not feel the emotions that he shows. He just wants the other people to think that he feels them. At the beginning of the skit that we filmed, Iago talks with Othello. Othello is a general and has a higher rank than Iago. However, Iago wants to establish authority over him in order to make Othello listen to him and do what he says. To do so, there he needs to show no hesitation at all. When he talks with the Moor, Iago's body language and gestures are really strict. Because he tells Othello stuff such as, I quote, encave himself, and I quote, to be merry and patient. And these are like commands, and when he commands him, he needs to be strict, he needs to be the leading figure. Later on in the play, I change my tone and acting 180 degrees because in front of Cassio, I don't need to be this ordering persona. But instead I need to be joking and easygoing. With his entering, I started smiling, laughing and talking warmly, the way I would communicate with an old friend of mine, let's say. Then, when Bianca came, I used my facial expressions, not dialogue, because there's a dialogue between Cassio and Bianca, and I cannot talk, but I can use my face because the camera sees my face. So I use my facial expressions to show how, while I'm a bit shocked, at least in front of Cassio, wink wink, because I'm actually not shocked. I know everything about the handkerchief. I mean, I told my wife to give it to me, and then I threw it in Cassio's chambers, but in front of Cassio I'm shocked. So I acted shocked, but also kind of accepting it jokingly, and a detail that I added from myself was rolling my eyes from Bianca's feet to her head and then back to her feet to accent Iago's objectification of woman. Lastly, when both Cassio and Bianca left, I tried not to make eye contact with Othello and talk fast and with a lot of emotion in order to show that Iago wants Othello to think that he's an honest man and he feels like he betrays Cassio, which is a problem for him. Wink wink, because it's not. he does not feel this way. He just wants Othello to think that he feels this way. These were the most notable gestures and changes in my tone throughout the skit that I did intentionally in order to convey some message. Thank you for listening.
Hi again. So, in our excerpt, I played the role of Cassio, and in our part, he was a very static character. He was completely on Iago's terms and was very oblivious to the situation. He came very not serious into the discussion with Iago. He was constantly making jokes. He felt very, very safe. I tried to convey that by intertwining his laughter with his lines and laughing at times when Iago was talking, because the situation seemed very amusing to him. Regarding Bianca and his behavior towards her, I tried to convey both his annoyance at her and his dismissiveness. He constantly laughs at her, he pokes fun at her attitude towards him and almost feels chased by her. And when he comes in, he starts off that very same way. I try being dismissive of her, being even angry at her coming in like that, but that dismissiveness soon shifts into distress because Cassio becomes confused at the whole situation, because Bianca not only does not grant his request for the handkerchief, but she returns it to him angrily, and he becomes very confused. I try to make my tone much more serious, much more surprised at the whole situation, and in a way to serve the character, and that overall return hints at the conspiracy that Cassio is a victim of, and he needs to take his leave, much more distressed than he came in. He says goodbye to Iago and exits the scene. I hope that I managed to convey those aspects of the character well, and I hope that everyone that watched enjoyed the video, and Miss Tank gives us a good mark. To end things, here is a very adorable blooper of Nicola's brother, Chrissy, entering the room while filming. Bye bye!
Не.
Идеално, какво?
Трябва да
Записахме го.
Къде му се записваме?
И сега не се ли записва?
Не, ние даже
Криши,
трябва
ела.
да
Нямаше камион.
Нямаш камион?
Още не ходим.
Искаш камион?
Да,
Кажи здрасти.
Здрасти, Хриси.